Hello and welcome back to the Escapigs series, episode 2. The last episode ended with Moiken and Stumpy getting married. But that kind of happiness doesn't last in a colony full of problems. First, they will need walls. With its initial construction, the colony felt much safer. Several days later, the Outlander faction leader contacted him. They want someone to watch against the raiders and tribal cannibals. Mr. Poyle volunteered and rode the shuttle to help and gain the Outlander's trust. Early morning, Michael noticed the lack of grass in the pen enclosure, and also the flies buzzing at the dead boar. Being rational, he lassoed all of the yaks to a greener pasture, just outside their enclosure, letting them graze on green, lush grass. And the same day, just past noon, a pack of manhunting merklings stumbled upon the colony. Unlucky for them, the colony had set up turrets, and fortunately, no one was harmed, except for the beasts. At dusk, Stumpy considered one of the requests from the great tribal chief, Hyena. In context, to save one of her caravans, Grand Chief Hyena asked Stumpy to lure these cannibal tribals away from her caravan and towards the Baconist colony. Of course, she would send two of the best warriors in the nearby settlement via drop pods. Several days passed and the colony dedicated themselves to bolstering the colony's defenses. But malaria struck. 3 people got infected, including the warrior. For 4 days, the colonists battled the malaria. It was long and anxiety-inducing, and only Gray did not make it. 5 hours after Gray has expired, the first set of raiders arrived. The raiders charged at the west wall entrance. The colonists hunkered themselves behind the well-placed turret and fought cautiously, avoiding the bulk of the tribals. Like moths to a candle flame, they wanted their sacrifices, but their efforts were futile. The second raid arrives, this time from the north. They charge valiantly, causing the farm animals to be caught between the crossfire. Some colonists, heavily wounded by the exchange of gunfire, crumpled on the ground. But they pulled through and repelled the forces at the north. And the final group of raiders charging towards the west wall. It was a bit hard fighting at this side of the map, with the turret almost running out of ammunition. The colonist and the warrior must defend this point in order for them not to get overwhelmed. Just a little more push, and finally, they have repelled the cannibalistic tribals. Safe once again, but not yet out of the woods. Cell was burning inside her tent. Others critically wounded, trying to recuperate. With swiftness, Moiken and Stumpy rushed towards the tent and tried to put out the fire. But the fire doesn't let up. With Moiken's quick wits, he moved Cell to the other tent. She was now safe. Sadly, the mighty warrior Legua died, bleeding on the ground, for the colonists are occupied, tending their own. All of the hardships were worth it for the psychic neuroform. Days gone, the colonists healed, and Pinky became a child. With Stumpy's guidance, he was taught how to talk and how to shoot. crucial skills for survival in this mad world. A trader finally shows up. The Baconists did not interact with them for the time being, because the party was way more important than interacting with the trader that time. The party wouldn't take that long. As the party finishes, the colonists traded with the caravan. They sold their yak in exchange for some new Omen and gold. Since there was a psychic near former, someone should be a psycaster. Charles decided to take up the mantle. She gained a Psylic, and Solar Pinhole was the first power she attained, and it's useful against night raids. Days gone by. A meteorite landed inside the walls of the colony. No one was harmed. Days passed yet again, with a few renovations here and Stumpy getting pregnant again. But the idleness was yet again broken. In response to Pinky's screaming, the colonists rushed outside the perimeter walls. He was being hunted by a hungry timber wolf. Quickly, they put the creature down and hunted other predators too, to make it a safer place for the children. After one quadrum of tiring work, the dance hall has been finished. And to celebrate its opening, they decided to throw a dance party. Days passed, and the colony was met with peace, with the occasional manhunting animals and renovations. But in the 8th of April, May, a raid arrived, all of them carrying melee weapons, all of their efforts futile against a well-placed turret. In the morning after they dealt with the raid, another request was sent to the Baconist. This time it's from the cannibal pirate boss. She wants to build a monument to humiliate her rival. The colony obliged, and they have nothing to lose if the request was a lie. She promised 11 Glitterworld medicine if they finish the construct. Several days later, some simple happenings such as a prisoner taken care of and released. A masterwork sculpture made by Poiglio due to his inspiration, slave being bought and converted into a fervent Baconist worshipper. And finally, the last piece of the monument was placed and the quest was done. The pirate boss was true to her word, and the medicine arrived. Another quest was accepted, this time from the Gentle tribe. It was one of the easiest quests out there, and who can say no to 7 Glitterworld medicine? In the evening, Poiglio saved the transport pod crash lander. She may be an enemy, but he cannot leave her alone, since she is Miana's daughter. Another trader arrived, this time it's a shaman merchant. The colonists sold the last of their farm animals in exchange for new Troamin, which is beneficial for the colonists. Since they need pack animals for travel, Moiken is trying to tame buffaloes, at least a pair of them. And finally, after several days of convincing Remy to join, Stumpy's efforts bore fruit. But before he can be appointed as a moralist, the ideology must be reformed drastically. And then he can be the moralist that the colony needs. And with that reform, they reappointed the two roles, with Remy being the moralist and Stumpy being the leader. The colony was peaceful, and a new bundle of joy is arriving. Stumpy is now giving birth to her second child. The child was born healthy, but there is an omen attached to her. An old enemy, mechanoids, landed beside their settlement, but far enough to not disrupt the colony. Will more of these menaces arrive and spell doom to our colonists, or will the colony thrive under such pressure? Until next time.